Kalamoana Exiles, while it has been a slow weekend for me at Necropolis League because I have been sick with the flu, lots of people have blasted through the league and have some common complaints, especially regarding three big issues. A three-pronged attack, sort of like my logo. People have issues with crafting, the unskippable nature of the league, and the risk versus reward of the league itself. It's a lot of negative with not a lot of positive. So it appears that Grinding Gear Games has been listening to said feedback, and they just released a blog post called What We're Working On. Now, I haven't looked at it, but I presume it's going to address a lot of these issues, because of all the content creators' reactions I've seen, they've all really just been negative. Zizarin had a negative video about the league itself, not about the patch, but the league. Kriparian quit in Ruthless Hardcore because the league just wasn't that great in his eyes and unskippable. Lots of other content creators, like DS Lily, Jungron, a lot of people are not happy with the league. Some are even upset with T17 maps and the new Uber bosses and how they are gating some of the cooler items like Crystallized Omniscience and Ashes of the Star. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of negativity. I'm curious to see how Grinding Gear Games has responded to it, especially with Mark Roberts at the helm instead of Chris Wilson. So, fresh reactions. Let's take a look at the post, and I'll give just a hot take up front. Okay, so a post, I presume, written by Mark Roberts from Grinding Gear Games, What We're Working On. Hi, everyone. Thanks for all the feedback and bingo cards, definitely written by Mark. To get straight to the point of the improvements to the league, here's what we're currently doing today in the studio. Our hope is to get each change out as soon as it is ready, so expect lots of patches this week, everyone. Area to area or map to map gameplay. We will be allowing you to itemize corpses as they drop, so you can choose to collect the corpse or itemize it for free. As a result, itemizing corpses in all contexts will now be free, as opposed to the 1 Chaos Orbit currently costs. Wow, so that's immediately a big change for trading and trying to get the perfect corpses that you need to craft items, because you really do need 64 corpses of exactly what you want to get what you need. Each of the downsides from area to area will now display the increase to the amount of collectible corpses and all flame embers they cause. Okay, that's another W change because you don't really know how many corpses you're going to get from these really tough mods. Sometimes I don't get many corpses, so this will be really good to see, so I know exactly what I'm going to get map to map. We will be increasing the amount of collectible corpses and all flame embers, dropping relative to difficult mods substantially. Awesome. We will be further increasing the amount of all flame embers, dropping additionally to the above. Great, good to hear, so we can make our own packs essentially. We will be adding all new all flame ember packs that are more rewarding. Ooh, okay, so new reward types, it looks like, new pack types. We will be revising the rewards and pack sizes from existing all flame ember packs in endgame to make them substantially more rewarding also. Okay, so does that mean the divine currency drops and all that stuff will be more rewarding? We'll have to see. We will be making the devoted modifiers more rewarding, notably the ones that are granting currency items. Oh, okay, so that's the divine modifier, the chaos modifier, regret, all that stuff. Good. I'm glad. I still haven't seen that, although I'm only in yellow maps right now. We are lowering the danger of the more dangerous modifiers, especially at endgame. Okay, that's good, but it does not look like we will be able to skip the mechanics still. We'll be able to use those all flame embers to replace the packs and make them frogs or rats or whatever, but we won't be able to skip it. I don't understand why they're not doing that. Almost every single league mechanic in the past 2.5, 3 years has been opt-in. This isn't. That's really harming people's enjoyment of the league, and it might be one of the reasons why this league, Necropolis, has the lowest retention rate ever of leagues in which we're recording that data. It's kind of crazy, especially since it was number 2 in terms of players on Steam at launch. Okay, so no improvements to the opt-in or out, but improvements to the mechanic itself. That is good. Now, a lot of people are complaining about the crafting, the UI, the complexity of it. Let's exactly see how they're addressing that right now. Grave crafting. You will now be able to select the base type of the item you want to craft. Thank goodness. That was the worst part of it, everyone. You would try to put together the perfect item, and then you'd get like a bone ring or something if you wanted the perfect ring for your strength stacking, volcanic fissure, snaking Juggernaut, and then you'd get a bone ring, and it was horrible. So this is awesome. I wonder how that will work if we just put in the item to the window and we craft on top of it. I like that. As such, we are removing some of the crafts that allow you to influence strength, dex, or intelligence armor types, as they will no longer be necessary since you can just freely select the base type. Note that special base types will still need to be obtained through certain corpses, such as Atlas base types and League base types like Stygian Vice. Okay, that's perfectly fair and good to know. We just select the base type. We don't even need to provide it. Awesome. We are increasing the chances of many of the rare crafts like fractured mods and mirrored outcomes significantly. Cool, cool, great. I don't know how many there have been. I haven't seen a lot of GG items on Reddit, so I'm guessing they're very rare. We've removed the tiers from most of the crafts. They'll now have the values of the existing highest tiers always. Wow. For example, instead of being able to get 200 or 500% increased chance for lightning mods, it will now always be 500%. Oh my gosh. That is a massive buff to the crafting. Thank you, GGG. Just make it an OP league. Just allow us to be able to make cool items like with Recombinators and OG Harvest. Awesome. We have taken all the crafts that affect the modifier rating and compressed it into a single craft that affects all mods instead of being type specific. This will not affect existing crafts you have. Those will stop dropping and the new one will also start dropping once it's deployed. Awesome. You will still be able to directly use coffins on your list of corpses in your morgue panel instead of trying to find them within the morgue. Control F will go to the search. Currently must be clicked. Oh, fantastic. Good quality of life. We will be sorting crafts by their type instead of by level. Thank you. Awesome. Making it much easier to find crafts that affect a specific type of modifier like fire mods. That's phenomenal because you're not crafting in levels most of the time, you're crafting in bunches of craft types, so like physical or attack or fire, like this example, or life or speed, not by item level. Awesome. The grave crafts that reroll sockets and links have been significantly buffed. Oh, I'm surprised on that because I've already been getting pretty good crafts for this. Okay, so cool to see. Okay, I think that's far more of a W than the area to area stuff, in my opinion. They're all W changes, but really, I don't get not being able to opt out of this league. There was a lot more happening in between the cracks, but instead of me getting into all that, I am focusing my attention toward getting the fixes ready faster, as that's what is more important. I will update more as we are making more changes. This is just what we're immediately working on, and we'll do more as soon as it's needed and we have resources available. The long weekend here, oh yeah, it's Easter weekend, unfortunately costs us the capability to respond to larger changes as fast as we'd like, and a huge lesson going forward is to make sure we don't deploy expansions on public holiday weekends, as we don't have the personnel available to make changes as fast as we want. And it is from Neon, aka Mark Roberts. And that's a lesson that they've encountered in the past. I think this happened with Bestiary all the way back. It was around Christmas when this happened, but that's many years ago at this point. And as this top comment says, W changes. Yeah, all these changes are good. The only thing that I feel like that they should change is being able to opt into the league because you can't opt out of it right now. So it should be something like selecting influence on your map. You can like click, okay, I want to do it, I don't want to do it, or something like that, because it's really bricking for a lot of builds, and the actual risk just does not the reward does not outweigh the risk. It's super, super dangerous, especially on hardcore. Me in softcore, I'm fine, and honestly, I'm in yellows, and it hasn't affected me that greatly, but I can definitely see where it harms a lot of players who are in those higher tier maps, who have very specific builds, who are on hardcore and don't want to always have to read the map mods. It really makes people who play builds wherein you kind of make all the map mods almost worthless and you can just blast maps and not have to read through everything. Have to read a lot more, and people don't necessarily like to read a ton, especially in Path of Exile, especially when the goal of their build is to trivialize as much as possible. Some stuff here can really hurt you, so some people might want to opt out of it. Another criticism I've seen that they did not address here is that the mechanic is not really rewarding, and it almost feels like you have to spec into the Atlas nodes for Necropolis to make it rewarding, and that perhaps the mechanic was designed with those nodes in mind first, and then stripped down, and they inserted those nodes into the Atlas passive tree. That could be a possibility as well, because a lot of people who are using those nodes are like, oh yeah, it's far more rewarding now, and with these buffs, it'll be even better. So that's another thing. I wonder if they should just roll those Atlas passive nodes into the Necropolis League. They probably won't do that since this is an experiment with having the current league's mechanics on the Atlas passive skill tree. We'll see though. It's possible they would. There's obviously a lot of changes going on. This was a good response from Neon, aka Mark. I'm glad they're on it. It sucks that it was a holiday weekend, and it sucks that a lot of people seemingly have quit the league already, because honestly, it's been quite fun for me. I haven't blasted it. I've been very sick. I've had the flu, but I'm having a good time. Other people, though, it's kind of mixed. So sounds like the core game, once again, is in a good spot, but this might not be the killing spree that we're looking for. You know, in Dota 2, if you get 3 kills in a row, you're on a killing spree. They had they had some good leagues right now. They had Toda, They had Affliction, and then they could have had a banger with this one, but a lot of people seem to dislike it, unfortunately. We'll see how it progresses as the league goes on. I'll see all of you in game. If you like the video, if you like these type of update videos and my raw, quick opinions, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with all your exiled friends, and keep watching more Talkative try. Anyways, that's all for this video. Telekura, Exiles.